Hello and welcome back to another edition of the New Starter Perspective series. So this is where I get the chance to speak to those who have recently joined Veramed to find out what their first 6 months have been like. I'm very pleased today to be joined by Gillian Hopton. Hi Gillian, how you doing?
Hi, Ian. Yeah, I'm doing well, thank you.
Excellent. So firstly, can you tell me, what do you do at Veramed and how have you found your first 6 months?
Yeah, so I'm a senior Stat 2 and I'm working in the Veramed internal projects. So primarily I'm working in the DMC business unit, which has been really interesting and really exciting to join and to work on that. So I'm kind of looking after a few studies there. And I've also been supporting a couple of other studies as a support statistician where I'm needed.
Brilliant. And have you found that your role has been kind of more of a project management based role, or you have had some opportunities to kind of apply some technical statistics too?
I've really done a bit of everything. I was helping out on a study when I first started, and I was able just to be a support on that team at a busy time, and I was able to just get stuck in with a load of statistical programming, which I really enjoy. And it also gave me an opportunity just to see how Veramed works, some of the internal processes, and just to meet people and get to know them better. But as obviously as I've taken on some of my own studies, I've got more involved with planning and a bit of project management as well.
I think you raised a really good point there about how Veramed bring people on. Like, regardless of level of experience, we still allow people to ease themselves in. You're not straight away given, right, you need to lead a program of projects. As you say, you've come to us with quite a lot of experience elsewhere, but you weren't necessarily chucked into the deep end right away in terms of project leadership, which I think is a nice thing. I know when I've started other jobs in the past, it has been a little bit like, right, off you go, do your best. Let me know if you get stuck. But no, we do take care when bringing on new people to the team. Okay, thinking back to the recruitment process, like how did you find that, and kind of can you talk me through like the different stages you went through?
Yeah, so I'd already heard of Veramed through kind of friends and former colleagues who currently work at Veramed. So I'd already heard about Veramed and was very keen on Veramed. I actually primarily approached them, so I approached people who already work at Veramed just to talk about what it's like to work at Veramed and what the process would be. And so I passed my CV through somebody at Veramed who passed it on to Kenzen. And then it kind of went from there after an initial chat with him and about kind of my background, my experience so far, and what I was looking for in a move. And following that, I had another chat with Catherine just to find out more about where my strengths lie and where I would best fit into the Veramed company and where best my skills would be used. And then obviously kind of some interviews after that. I actually came out of one of my chats with somebody just thinking, actually, this is the first time I've actually really enjoyed a job interview. I really enjoyed everybody that I talked to and all the whole process. It was really good to get to talk to people and yeah, find out more about Veramed.
I think that is something which comes up an awful lot when I talk to people on this podcast. They say that they enjoy the interview process, and that seems like quite a strange concept because I think everyone associates an interview with, oh, you're going to be grilled on competencies and technical questions. But to be honest, the interview at Veramed, so, from my experience, and it sounds like from yours, it is just really finding out about what do you enjoy doing, what are your strengths, what would your ideal role look like at Veramed, that type of thing. And I've said this many times before on this podcast, is that we try and find the role that suits the individual rather than put the individual to a certain role. Now, I can't promise you won't get asked about statistics in an interview or be asked questions about, tell me about a time you worked in a team or something like that. You still have that aspect, but in general, it's really chilled. And I remember from my interview, there was sort of some quick fire questions, not like the quick fire questions you get on the podcast, but something like, oh, what do you think about Excel? And it threw me off a little bit, but I did find it quite funny at the same time, and it just sort of just in a way kind of broke the ice, and it made it quite a positive experience. Finally, Gillian, before I let you go, can you just what do you like most about working at Veramed from the first 6 months you've been here?
I think everybody kind of talks about Veramed and how it's a very friendly company. It's very much a family feel. It's a very flat structure and people are very accessible. And once you get in, you realize that's really the case. So I've really enjoyed the culture. I've really enjoyed the fact that I'm working for a company where I like the values that Veramed hold to. And I think that really comes across in everything they do.
Mm.
I've really enjoyed everybody that I've got to meet. Everybody's really friendly. And and whether that's just kind of during team meetings or whether that's needing to reach out for help or everything, everybody's been very approachable. So it's been a really enjoyable experience getting to know people and getting stuck in.
It's funny what you say there about you only realize what Veramed is like when you actually get here. We say a lot of things on this podcast. Veramed's amazing. This part of Veramed's amazing. This part of Veramed's amazing. We're not just saying that. It actually is the case, and you can only experience that if you make that brave step, leave your current role, and come to work with Veramed. I promise you that you will not regret it. Gillian, thank you so much for coming on to talk about your initial 6 months. I wish you all the very best with hopefully a long future at Veramed, and thank you to those who've tuned into this episode.